Karma is the greatest teacher. It does not punish, it teaches. Paramahansa Yogananda. Karma, often misunderstood as punishment or cruel fate, is actually the perfect balance of the universe. It is the precise, just response to every seed we have planted through our thoughts, words, and actions. There comes a magical moment when you are no longer bound by automatic reactions, no longer ruled by the past. How can you recognize this divine sign taking place in your life? Here are 6 profound signs illuminated by the wisdom of Paramahansa Yogananda that indicate you are approaching or have already reached the stage of karmic perfection. 1. Staying unmovable in the storm from the hurt person. How many times in your life has a cold look or an unintentional comment been enough to push you into the depths of your emotions? You easily get angry, sink into self-pity, or get lost in the whirlpool of negative emotions without understanding why you are so weak. That is when the karmic string still has the power to tighten your mind. But then in the quiet journey of self-reflection and inner development, a miraculous change begins to arise. No need for anyone to comfort you. No need for anyone to apologize because your inner self has matured greatly. Now criticism can still reach your ears. The outside world can still be chaotic. But inside you is a calm, unruffled lake. You no longer react instinctively. No longer let other people's words or actions control your emotions. You no longer need to win every argument. No longer need to prove yourself right to feel fulfilled. You simply breathe deeply, observe, and understand. Understand that every negative behavior of others is in the end just a reflection of their own pain, their deep wounds, and sadly, they don't even realize it yet. You choose to let go, not because you are weak, but because you are much stronger than your resentment. This is the moment the old power of karma begins to dissolve. When you no longer react out of habit, karma has no power over you anymore. Paramahansa Yogananda. 2. Overcome old temptations with awareness without fighting. In the past, you were pulled down by unconscious habits, strong desires, explosive emotions, or pleasures that left lingering consequences. You knew what was dragging you down, but knowing did not mean being free. You still rushed in, still repeated, still regretted, and still promised yourself to change from tomorrow. And then it was back to square one. But when you reach a stage of spiritual maturity, you no longer have to resist. You no longer need to fall into the old loops. You see the cravings, the attractions, or the old behaviors appear, but they no longer urge you to act. They come, you smile and acknowledge them. They go, you let them be, not clinging. This is not because you become a better person in the conventional sense. It is because you have a deeper understanding of the true consequences of those choices. When wisdom is ripe, your mind no longer falls into the trap that used to keep it from slipping. You don't have to fight to win over temptation. You just have to stand firm in the light of awareness, and the old darkness will naturally disappear. When the light of awareness arises, karma can no longer drag you down with desire or anger. Paramahansa Yogananda. And when you can step through temptation without feeling like you're losing anything, when you can choose awareness over repeating the same old thing, that is the sign that you are truly leaving the cycle of karma, like a dry leaf that has fulfilled its mission, voluntarily letting go of the branch without needing the wind to shake it. 3. Have the courage to let go of karma relationships in peace. In life, sometimes we meet people not to build complete happiness, but to complete an invisible debt from a previous life. A familiar yet haunting look, an inexplicable connection from the first meeting, but then one day, everything suddenly stops. No more anger, no more regret, no more need to end it properly. You simply feel fulfilled. You don't need anything more from them, and you can look at that person like an old friend on the time train passing by the window and smile as you send them off to the station without any attachment. This is not indifference. This is a noble sign that you have completed your soul lesson with them. You are not running away from the other person. They do not need to change for you to be at peace. It is simply that the spiritual contract between the two of you has been cleared peacefully and completely. Souls come and go from your life, not by accident. They are a sacred part of your karmic purification. Paramahansa Yogananda. When you can let go of someone without regret, when you can thank even those who have made you cry, that is when you are passing through a great gate of karmic liberation without anyone having to recognize or acknowledge it. For the mind is no longer a struggle between must and avoid. You just choose silence. Before every decision, every desire dragged you into an inner battle. Should I do this or not? Should I just act or should I be patient? Is this right or wrong? You live like a warrior holding a sword to yourself. That's when your mind got stuck in the maze of duality. But then naturally that battle gradually became meaningless. Not because you became indifferent or gave up on life, but because you saw clearly the deep root of all suffering. It is the resistance to reality, the clinging to expectations, and the resistance to what is happening. When you accept every aspect of life without judgment, you begin to choose stillness not as a temporary act, but as your very essence of being. You find peace not because the outside world has changed according to your wishes, but because your mind no longer rises and falls with its waves. When the mind is no longer wavering, karma has nowhere to attach itself to for survival. Paramahansa Yogananda 5. You feel a deep freedom not outside but within. This is perhaps the clearest sign of a soul freeing itself from karma. You begin to feel a sense of freedom, but not the instinctive do whatever you want kind, nor the personal freedom bound by desire. It is freedom from your ego, from the prejudices and frameworks you have set for yourself. You are no longer governed by external pressures. What others think of you is no longer important. Whether life goes the way you want it to or not is no longer a measure of happiness. Success, failure, gain, loss, winning, losing, all dualistic concepts disappear, becoming meaningless in the face of inner peace. You feel strangely light, not because you are running away from life or responsibility, but because you are no longer trapped in the roles and expectations set by society or yourself. This is the time when you are paying off your karma with deep understanding, not with pain or struggle. You no longer need success to feel your worth. You no longer need the ideal lover to feel fulfilled. You no longer need a perfect future to feel secure and living fully in the present moment. You are simply present with absolute ease and stillness, still working and living in the flow of life. This freedom is not escaping from the world, but escaping from the invisible chains in your mind. Freedom does not come from changing places. It comes from realizing you are not what is being bound. Paramahansa Yogananda. You are actually breaking free from the cycle of karma that has lasted for many lifetimes, entering a state of ultimate liberation. 6. Your heart becomes bigger. Love people as they have never hurt you. This is not a forgiveness in the usual sense or a false nobility because you think you have evolved. It is a wonderful and deeply true feeling. You look back at those who have betrayed, hurt, or even ruined your life and you realize there is nothing to blame, nothing to hold back. Even a deep and gentle gratitude rises up. Those people came into your life not to harm you but to push you back to yourself, to force you to face and overcome your inner limitations. It is the greatest pains, the most severe challenges that become the great teachers teaching you how to let go of expectations of others and of the outside world. See through your own ego-filled attachments, and most importantly, tap into the source of unconditional love that is always hidden deep within. You no longer expect others to understand you. You do not need them to change or atone for you to be at peace. You see that every soul in this world is in the process of learning, each with their own program, their own lesson. And the love within you becomes vast and immense, flowing naturally without any selection or discrimination. When you see the whole world as children learning to walk in the dark, you cannot hate anyone anymore. Paramahansa Yogananda. You do not love with fleeting emotions or personal attachments, but with deep understanding and boundless wisdom. You no longer love because the other person is good or deserves to be loved, but because you realize that the other person is also a part of you, an expression of the same divine source. And that is the clearest, most beautiful sign. Karma has been removed not only from your actions, from your words, but has actually dissolved from your heart. 7. From phantom presence to original consciousness, you awaken to a new stream of awakening. When karma is dissolved, what you receive is not the completeness coming from the outside, but an inner state of awakening where your being undulates with each breath, gentle, steady, and unshakable. 7.1. You no longer perceive I am not enough. Previously, you used to compare yourself with others, feeling less smaller or inferior. But now it seems that the feeling of inferiority has completely disappeared from your soul. You no longer care whether your colleagues are better, your friends are richer, or others receive the halo that you do not have. Your life becomes full in this very moment because you have realized that the greatest resource is not what you get from the outside, but the fullness within yourself. 7. You are silent and still a support. In the past, you interacted, joked, and tried to prove your existence through words and actions. Now you just need to be present. People come to you not because you are good at talking, but because you do not need to talk too much. In your silence, others feel at peace and find a land of rest for their souls. This is not a sign of emptiness, but a sign of a pure energy, not needing anyone to give it, but spreading naturally. 7.3. You know how to walk lightly, but each step is light. When karma has been purified, you are no longer in a hurry to keep up with the speed of the world. You are not in a hurry to achieve this or that. You know that every small act, a kind word, a quiet helping hand, or a sympathetic look is a small flame that lights a light in someone else. You begin to realize it doesn't have to be big. Just do the best you can from a conscious heart. 8. From karma to spring joy, a proof of awakening. You have let go, looked back, and gently left. But that is not the end. It is the beginning of a truly free life where your soul is bright like the dawn, pure and gentle like a flower petal after a cleansing rain. 8.1. Joy does not come from receiving but from healing. When karma is dissolved, you no longer expect or depend on external recognition. You do not need praise or admiration to feel happy, because you know the greatest joy is the peace of the soul, not dependent on any conditions. You no longer live to be loved by others, but live because you have found the light in the darkness of your soul. 8.2. To you do not seek light, because you have already begun to radiate light. In the past, you may have gone to find a guru, gone to a monastery, or read books waiting for someone to give you spiritual knowledge. Now you do not need to go far to shine. You do not need anyone to comfort you because you yourself have become a source of comfort for others. When the light within you is strong enough, people can feel peace just by meeting your eyes. 8.3. You see yourself as a master, but not ruling. When the ancients asked Ramana Maharshi, "Who are you?" he did not say a spiritual master, but replied, "I am," before I thought of who I was. Similarly, you can touch the souls of others just by your presence. You do not need to teach them. You do not need to correct them. You just need to be present. And that presence is enough to help others discover their inner light. This is not about you becoming a guide, but about you being true to yourself. And that naturally opens the way for others to follow. 8.4. You are in harmony with the universe like grass swaying in the wind without needing to grow tall. You used to think that this life was a race to assert yourself to win over others. Now you just see yourself as a part of the sacred ground where the universe can spread. You are as gentle as grass. When the wind blows, you sway rhythmically, without needing to reach there. You have understood that the circulation of light does not need you to create it. You just need to open your heart to let it spread naturally. And you have become in tune with the heartbeat of the universe. Conclusion: karma is not the end of a life, but the beginning of a new life. When karma is purified, you do not escape from life. You begin to live life as an awakened person. No fear of pain, no attachment to pleasure, no hatred of the past, no demand for the future. You walk lightly like the wind. No baggage of memories, no need for philosophical shoes, just the light from within as a lamp and unconditional love as a companion. When karma is dissolved, you do not need to fly to the sky. The earth becomes a paradise, and you become the keeper of the light. Paramahansa Yogananda. Namaste.